I never was the type to just follow with what someone does. I think that's just weird as I like whenever she was talking about all this stuff, I was just thinking like the world is just full of a bunch of sheep, just NPCs walking around that don't think critically at all. They don't think about anything. They just see something and they follow it like a fly in a light.
Subscribe to this channel in case you are watching this channel and have not subscribed.
Welcome back to the comment section. I'm Brett Cooper. We all know that there are a lot of stupid things in movies and on TV shows, and I talk about this a lot, and usually when I bring gender into it, I think that I'm normally talking about women and the impact that this can have on women, from, you know, the promiscuous characters or how feministy all the shows are, or like yesterday where I was talking about Kylie Jenner and the impact that that can have on women's body images and all of that. But today, we are talking about men because you guys deserve an episode, because television shows are also hurting you. And this is actually one of the reasons why I was not allowed to watch 99% of television growing up. Before we get into this, though, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and ring that notification bell so that you never miss a comment section or off the clock episode. This tweet sparked the entire episode. I saw it over the weekend. I despise this idea that men are just so dumb. I see it portrayed on TV all the time, and it's a common theme of jokes among girls, which is true, sadly. They are not dumb. That's what they want you to think. They know exactly what they're doing. Don't be delusional. I mean, to be fair, men can be pretty dumb sometimes. I think the way that we're dumb is honestly the fucking funniest type of dumb, though. Like this type of stupid stunts that we do, or the fucking how we just how sometimes we can't even read like simple body language, or just, you know, like there's some things that we lack skill with. Or I guess intelligence with, or I don't know. But there are some things that we aren't that smart with. But whenever it comes to like critical thinking or survival instincts or just stuff along those lines, we are smart as fuck. But whenever it comes to fucking, let's stack up a pyramid of trash cans and all fucking try to see who can knock down the most, we're pretty dumb whenever it comes to that. Our sense of humor is dumb, I guess. Like the first part of that tweet, I think at the end, this girl is just bitter and she's actually thinking that men are terrible and manipulative. That's kind of how I read it. But the first part of that tweet is very important. The founder of EV Magazine, who I love, and you guys should read that magazine. Follow them if you do not already. They're like the new Cosmopolitan. Her name is Brittany, and she quote tweeted this and said, "This is why I stopped watching the majority of television years ago. Once you see it, you can't stop. I am tired of the, quote, stupid husband trope that you see in sitcoms like King of Queens or Modern Family, or the total idiot father in Disney Channel shows. Give me Hercules going into the underworld to save his woman, or William Wallace avenging his love." To be fair, I love Modern Family. I think it's a very funny sitcom. Later seasons, not so much. But like the beginning, the core years, was very funny. And I know that people are talking about Phil Dunphy, and he is funny, but he is sort of a fool. We do have to admit that.
I've never watched Modern Family, but men are usually only dumb in these types of roles because it's comedy. It's funny. It's funny when men are dumb. It's funny when men get hurt. It's funny when men play these types of roles. It's not really funny when women play these types of roles. Like even with Jackass, whenever they casted the girl, she wasn't able to perform in most stunts because it's just not funny seeing a girl get hurt. Even though I feel what she's saying, it kind of does brainwash people kind of to think that men are dumb. But I don't know. I think it's not meant to brainwash people. I think it's just meant to be funny.
However, he participates in his family. This is, you know, we can't have all of the Phil Dunphy slander. He participates in his family. He loves his children like no other. He is a very, very active father, even though he could be a little clueless. And that is a lot better than the majority of male characters out there, because he actually is a committed family man, even if he is just a goofball. Somebody said, "I feel like this possibly started with The Honeymooners. That show was such a hit that everybody copied that husband-wife dynamic." Another person said, "This trend began to emerge in the late 80s and early 90s. It was a novelty at first. Look at that wacky dad. He is so funny." But now, guys, in 2023, that is just the norm. And you cannot tell me that it has not had an impact both on men and male-female relationships. One person said, "They want men to expect less of themselves. They want boys to grow up thinking that they can be a goof and still get a decent job and a wife who's out of their league." Now, to be clear, I like the first part of that tweet because I do think that is what...
I get it. Like I said, I get how it could, you know, trick people or kind of like put up a judgment in people's heads or kind of set a bar for some boys growing up. But I don't think it was meant to do it on purpose. Maybe it was. I don't know. I think it was just meant because it was comedy and it was funny, and people just aren't original anymore, so they just steal old ideas.
What they're trying to teach men. But I love a goof. You just have to be a competent goof.
Yeah.
You cannot be an idiot. You must be able to emotionally support your partner and be stable. You cannot just be off in La La Land 24/7. That's the point. But silly guys, don't worry. We all love you. We love a guy who makes us laugh. Anyway, another person said, in order to exalt the image of one gender, they attempt to degrade the image of another. Actually, both genders have specific yet different attributes that should be celebrated and promoted. Isn't that just a controversial take? Isn't that crazy that men and women are different and we both have strengths and weaknesses and neither one of us should be stereotyped and portrayed as idiots 24/7? Crazy. Oh my God.
It's like yin and yang. It's like, whoa, we balance out for a reason.
God. Now, I started doing some research on this because I wanted to know if this was just kind of like a my family thing that my mom had identified, or if, you know, people elsewhere off of Twitter were talking about it. There were literally 3 TikToks about this. One of them had more views, but everything else was just like a couple guys talking about it. Really didn't get much traction. They were kind of talking about some Simpsons characters, but, you know, really not a lot of information out there. I also was trying to find some articles, and there have not been any articles written about this in the last few years. Like, I think that 2015, 2016 was the last article that I saw. And is this...
This is why it's such a research, because I don't even know what you would even put into the search bar to find people talking about this. What, just incompetent men, or incompetent men in TV shows or something?
Just because we're so used to this now. Like, it's so commonplace to see men portrayed as bumbling idiots that we're not even writing about it anymore or discussing it. Is this because women have won? To bring Barbie into this, because I know we're all still thinking about Barbie, like, are we fully in matriarchal Barbie land and everybody's happy with the bumbling idiot Kens just being an accessory 24/7? Like, is that what we have gotten to? Like, the most significant article that I found about this was from 2010. It was from the Daily Mail. Why does TV love to portray men as idle, feckless idiots? And this author wrote, a casual contempt for men, especially fathers, has crept into much that is pumped out of the small box. It's there in TV comedies, from the character of the feckless father Frank in Shameless to Ben, the plain, stupid dentist dad in My Family, and even Pete Brockman, the ineffectual man of the house in Outnumbered. And then, because she has daughters, she wrote a lot about this and said, when my 2-year-old grows up, I want her to have high expectations of the men she meets. I want them to be capable of living up to those expectations. As the mother of a young daughter, I want to shout at the TV when I see fathers routinely portrayed as villains or idiots.
Right.
Yes. Like, I feel like this woman and my mother would be very, very good friends, because this is one of the things that my mom told me when I would, you know, come home from a friend's house and, you know, would have watched some sitcom and she would watch some of it with me. She would go, no, you're not allowed to watch this anymore. These characters are terrible. This man is an idiot. Like, this family is not functional at all. Why would I let you watch something with such terrible values? It's not even funny, because the only jokes are at the expense of this man who was supposed to be the man of the house. This article also...
Rick and Morty is a prime example of that, bro. Morty's dad is so incompetent. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it's done on purpose. I just think it's done to be funny, and it's funny to see. It's not really funny to see a woman act dumb. I don't know. Maybe it would be funny, but I just can't really see a TV show where a incompetent, you know, kind of moronic woman is funny. Although I guess there are there are not a lot of shows like that, but I can think of some where the woman is just like ditzy and yeah, but it's not really funny. It's more like cute.
Also made an excellent point about some of the parallels that might be eye-opening for some feminists. Maybe you could get some empathy for this, because she brought up how women used to be stereotyped and portrayed in media. You know, silly idiots, weak, incompetent. Oh, they can't drive, they can't do anything. They spend so much money, they don't know how to balance a checkbook. They're just made fun of constantly. You guys know what I'm talking about. And this is not... I
know that there was TV shows like that, but I can't think of any from the olden days to where they're actually like just hounding bitches for being dumb, you know, like where they're trying to belittle women. And like I said, I don't really think they're trying to belittle men. I think it's just funny. Or maybe they are trying to belittle men, and men are just too shelled up to give a fuck, and they're too worried about other things to care about this shit. Like, I never looked at a dumb father and thought, oh, I want to be like him. I thought the goofiness was funny, but I never thought like, oh, I want to be dumb. I want to be useless. I want to be I want to be second in the family. I don't want to wear the pants in the family. I've never thought that. I just don't think that's something that men think naturally.
Portraying traditional gender roles, because this has no respect for women or what they bring to the house. This is not like, oh, we have a nice traditional wife character and a mother character. This is literally just turning the woman into an idiot. This is punching down at women because it was funny. We all know what that turned into. Women got fed up. They started burning their bras. They started the FU men sexual
growing
revolution.
armpit hair.
Now look where we are. We have totally flipped the script. Now men are the ones who are doomed to look like idiots on screen.
Look what they
The
lead to
pendulum
mimic
swinging, that's
a fraction
why.
of our power.
No wonder the men of today are struggling. No wonder they do not have good masculine role models. No wonder so many of them look towards the alpha red pill bros on Twitter and decide they don't want to have anything to do with the women who treat them like this, who think that this kind of media is acceptable, or that this is actually how men operate
Right.
and what they believe and, how they work. One person on Twitter, I guess I should actually say X now. How do I even say that? Oh, I was reading X's? That's weird. I'm just gonna say Twitter.
same.
Anyway, he said, I find it hypocritical. It sounds like this is a response because of the negative stereotypes of women. Instead of killing the toxic stuff against women, they are just shifting it to men. Again, the pendulum went now to bring Barbie back into it. We've got to find the middle ground, guys. We've got to find the balance. Anyway, it is all about power. Another person said, yep, I allow my son to watch some Disney Channel shows, but we do have a conversation about this so he knows what they are doing. And I love that both she and Brittany from Evie brought up Disney Channel because this was the thing that was most seriously banned in my house. Number one, because all of the shows, especially in the Gen Z era, like the earlier 2000s ones, the late 90s ones, I know people have a lot of fond memories of those, but like the 2010s shows, guys, absolutely terrible. No value whatsoever. They were awful. My mom literally thought the only thing that they would do for me is kill off my brain cells. But most importantly, the reason why it was banned was because
I'm in that predicament with my son right now, to where he likes to watch the most uninteresting stuff, just stuff that just is supposed to grab his attention, like just stuff on YouTube. And I cut YouTube out, and then he's been watching Happy Kids now, and I'm about to cut that out because it's pretty much just YouTube. It's not as bad as YouTube because YouTube you can pretty much get to anything if you click long enough. Happy Kids is all just like all the child-friendly stuff that's on there, but it's damn near the same thing as YouTube. I'm about to take that away from him. I just don't know what the hell he's supposed to watch because Netflix, bro, they got so much just woke shit in there. Like there's a TV show for that is made for like 3-year-olds that is talking about non-binary shit and fucking all the political propaganda that's placed in all this kid shit now. It's like they have nothing to fucking watch. I damn near have to fucking get cable or something and so have them watching what I grew up on.
of how these shows portrayed parents, especially fathers. And there are so many articles about this, again, from years ago, like this one. Study, Disney shows dump on dad. Here's one from the New York Post. How Disney teaches contempt for dads. And then here's a Reddit post where this father says, does the way Disney portrays father piss anyone else off? And then he writes, the complete lack of respect for a hardworking father was mind-boggling to me. If my wife or kids said anything to me in that manner, there would be hell to pay. Why is this okay to teach our children? If this is what our kids are learning, it is no wonder when I hang out with other parents and their kids are so disrespectful to them. Disney and any other media outlet that helps foster this culture. The kids in Disney Channel shows were brats, and the parents were idiots with no control over their households whatsoever. The parents were always the butts of the joke. The kids were punching down on the parents. No wonder we have an entire generation who does not respect their families or the values that their parents attempted to instill in them. The content that you watch has such an impact on your life, a dramatic influence on your life, on your values, your attitudes, your moods. I remember never being...
See, I get that on how it does some people, and maybe it does with me, but I never was the type to just follow with what someone does. I think that's just weird as fuck. Whenever she was talking about all this stuff, I was just thinking, like, the world is just full of a bunch of sheep, just NPCs walking around that don't think critically at all. They don't think about anything. They just see something and they follow it like a fly in a light. They don't think about shit. I could never in my life act like that. And then maybe I do to some extent, but not nowhere near like how people are nowadays, dog. People nowadays are fucking dumb. They don't think about nothing at all. They think more about how they feel than what actually is. And I think that's a problem, is that it was kind of like it pushed down to us to where everyone had to start thinking empathetically and start thinking about other people's feelings and this and that and put other people's feelings first, where you start losing a sense of reality somehow. I don't know, like obviously we need to be empathetic for other people, but there's a time to where you need to actually like stop and think about what you're being empathetic about.
Being as cranky as I was when I would come home from a friend's house after watching Disney Channel. I was so angry at my mom. I was bitter. I was like, why are you telling me what to do? And I would like stomp off to my room. And that is literally when I would get in trouble the most as like a tween. I also, as an adult, recognized that if I spend too much time binging a trash television show when I've had a long day and I want to turn my brain off versus reading a book or just going to bed or maybe watching something that's well written, my vocabulary suffers. My brain cells literally die because I'm putting crap into my brain.
My
brain hurts.
And I say that because I talk to a lot of parents about, the media that they let their children consume and being very, cognizant of that. But as young adults and adults, you also have a responsibility when it comes to the media that you consume. Do not constantly fill your head with trash, and be very conscious about the biases and the attitudes that your favorite pieces of media have, because they all have biases. And especially if you're a woman, if you're watching these shows where all the male characters are idiots, you're going to learn not to have respect for them. You're going to learn to have very, very low standards, and that's not a good thing. And, the reverse goes to men. You want to watch shows that uplift you and teach you good things.
Yeah.
Because like it or not, this media has an impact on you, so be very careful.
I mean, sometimes it's nice to just have something entertaining to watch, something funny but yeah, I do notice now that I'm getting older that I do like to watch more interesting things. I like to actually learn stuff. But what I was saying about the NPCs and shit, maybe, like, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm wise or anything, but I did have to grow up early, and I feel like I'm old for my age. I lost my dad at 6. That made me grow up a lot. I got arrested and put in juvie whenever I was 13, and that made me grow up a lot. I got kicked out and was homeless before I turned 18, and that made me grow up a lot. Like, I've had a lot of negative parts of my life. It's not rough by any means, but it is harder than the normal life. And I think stuff like that strengthened my mind a lot to where I could start thinking about shit more critically and thinking about, just from different perspectives and shit. And maybe that is what made me so hard to be brainwashed. I don't know. I do know that I get tricked by shit sometimes, and then I fall into the narrative here and there, but I'm always at least accountable enough to own up to the fact that I was dumb and that I was wrong, and I learned from it. I don't think people nowadays do. I don't know if that has to do with just their upbringing, or if it's just their personality, or what it has to do with it, or anything. But all I know is that there are way too many people nowadays that can't think for themselves. They cannot think for themselves for the life of them. They have to be told what to think. And they can't just be told what to think by someone. They have to be told what to think by someone that they look up to, or by a bunch of people. And the people that people look up to nowadays don't know shit. They don't. Motherfuckers probably look up to me. Don't. Like, you can like my content, but I don't know everything. Nobody knows everything. There are people that know a lot about some subjects, and if you're gonna look up to anybody, I would look up to people like that. But it's kind of pointless to just follow what someone says. You really need to think for yourselves, because the only person that knows what you should do is you. And it might be harder for you to figure that out, but if you just keep searching, eventually you figure out what you need to do. But yeah, please like the video. If you guys got anything to say about the video, let me know down below. I read every single comment. And if you fuck with your boy, will you please give me a subscription? With that said, deuces.
I was so far at the bottom, I'm still trying to make it up. Little broke, dirty nigga, but was trying to run it up. And I've been the most hated, I can't make this shit up. Always been an outlaw, really never give a fuck. Mama and my granny always praying for a nigga. Luckily, won't ride with no niggas that I know wouldn't bust for me. Never really care about them niggas who didn't fuck with me. Just know if you my dog, then you forever.